Sleep is important. Please sleep. And I fucking like the background here around there. I love it. Even though it's just a post, I guess it's just very, very just looking good here on the screen. But let's start out with the episode. So, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. I hope you're as pumped as I am to actually go through today's second episode. I do hope that I'm actually gonna just upload them like in this kind of arrangement, whatever. So that actually this is the second one and not the first one. But yeah, I think you can actually see in the background what we are going to go through today, which is the sleep summary again. We've been gone through. Actually, isn't that much? No, it's not. Actually, there are only like a few chapters left. I think like 16. Yeah, it's 16. So actually, there are, I guess, 16 left. Yeah, quite 16 chapters left. I think we will go through quite the half of it this time and quite the other half of it the next time. So I do think we are quite actually pretty fucking fast with this one. Even though I do have to say, okay, there has been a lot of episodes of this summary. But yeah, it's fine. So yeah, chapter 11, Dream Creativity and Dream Control. Dream Control, very interesting for me. Maybe they actually show me, yeah, you can control your dreams. Would be great. So the REM sleep function creates novel associates between ideas, increasing creativity and solving problems. Well, narratively, the brain asks, how can I connect what I've recently learned with that I already know, thus discovering insightful relations or revelations. What have I done in the past that might be useful in solving this new problem? Very interesting. I do think that, even though it's a little bit somehow obvious, our brain is very, very smart. Very smart. I guess very smart. Just enormously smart. Experimental theme, split subjects into a sleep group and a non-sleep group, show that more REM sleep observed by electrodes on head increases the performance further. REM sleep creates novel connections between distantly related concepts. Different concepts are associated together semantically. Pairwise relationships are synthesized to more one-chain relationship. Which means, what does e.g. mean? For example, but why e.g.? Why e.g.? Example given? Maybe? I don't fucking know. So, for example, team A to B and B to C separately, and the brain forms ABC. Well, so teach A arrow B and B arrow C separately, and the brain forms ABC. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think because we already knew that. And it really connects all the thoughts or all the things that we have learned up to this point. I think it's actually exponentially. The first few things that you've been learning, your language and, the motor skills, the really easy things, were quite hard to learn. And I think you can totally see when you're just watching a baby, doing something, whether it's being talking or whether it's being actually doing something like physically, it's very, very fucking tough for them. And I do think, we have learned these things, and then we learn to do somehow algebra, even though we quite don't need it. But I do think that it just really is exponentially growing. The more you know, the more you will be able to, the more you know, the more you'll be able to know, just I think in less time. I guess. I don't fucking know. I just thought about this. Would be even just very, very good. So new experiences can be matched to old ones. For example, solving a maze today versus navigating a maze in Thailand 5 years ago. Possibly to piggyback previously learned skills to new ones. This is akin to how LSD seems to open new channels between parts of the brain that normally don't communicate, possibly leading to creativity. Ah, would make sense. Would make sense. Actually, Steve Jobs was one of the people that, actually said this, that the experience of actually taking LSD was one of the most precious and most relevant experiences that he had in his life, which is incredible, because I do somehow think that this is actually gonna just, open a lot of channels for you and open a lot of new ways of thinking for you. I do not know, and it would be just, interesting to know if it is actually like, you have to take it, all the time, or if you have taken it once, that it actually just gives you the better worldview, or the more just somehow bigger worldview. But yeah, so the REM sleep creates higher level comprehensions of ideas, finding the patterns among the vast noise. For example, language learning as a child, finding easier ways to solve competitive problems. Or finding easier ways to solve competitive problems. The content of REM sleep matters when solving that problem. In an experiment, subjects were given a maze to solve and given a chance to nap. People who dream about issues related to mazes were 10 times better at solving the maze upon walking versus people who didn't dream about mazes. Matthew Walker cites Mendeleev, it is Mendeleev, in dreaming about arranging the periodic table. Sites. What does actually sites mean? I have actually looked it up. Zitiert. Cites Mendeleev, which seems to be very important just person in the chemical world or chemics world, whatever. So people in REM sleep are able to better solve creative problems. In an experiment, subjects in sleep were woken up to solve anagrams. For example, OEOSG, which is goose. Those waking up from REM sleep solved 15 to 35% more puzzles than those in NREM sleep or while awake. Thomas Anderson would reportedly fall asleep holding metal ball bearings, releasing them as he entered REM sleep and waking up to write down his dream ideas. Lucid dreamers are able to voluntarily control the actions during dreaming. This was verified by pre-arranging eye movements and hand signals during REM sleep. Hand signals were read by fMRI because of muscle atonia. And less than or more than 20% of people in the population are capable of lucid dreaming, suggesting it might not be a hugely advantageous capability. So I don't know. I've been reading about lucid dreaming because I was quite interested in actually just being able to just really consciously being able to form my dreams and somehow control them, because it would be nice, because I would have been able to do quite a lot of things, a really lot of things, and because why not? I could fly, I could drive some cars, I could do whatever I want. And I think if you're thinking about lucid dreaming in such a way, in like a problem solving way, I do think that you could just some kind of generate the same problem in your dream as well, and then somehow solve it or try to solve it, and maybe come to an idea of better solving the problem than before. Maybe this was also their just idea. I don't know. Maybe. But we actually start with part 4, from sleeping pills to society transformed. Society transformed. Sleeping pills, I guess something that I would never ever just suggest someone to do, because I think in general, people shouldn't take as much pills and as much I don't know, stuff they actually don't need as they are doing, whether it be vitamins, whether it be some isotonic drinks. Well, maybe, yeah, okay, you could take them, but I don't know. There's so many things actually people don't need, but I guess, the market for these things are so big, or is so big, they're making a lot of money through people actually thinking like they need it, but they don't. Which is actually, I think, the same case with all the vitamins and minerals and whatsoever that's in products that actually don't need them. Whether it be some almond milk, or whether it be some yogurts out of soya, or just a lot of things just contain some added just vitamins or minerals that people actually don't need. And the thing is that a lot of people think like they need as much vitamins as possible, even though there are actually downsides of having too much vitamins. It's really like for example, I guess actually having too much vitamin A in a longer period of time just ends in having osteoporosis, which is having just very, very weak bones. The thing is, and the funny thing there is, that vitamin A is actually, or milk actually contains a lot of vitamin A, which means that, a lot of people be like, you have to get the calcium in the milk so that your bones are well and, whatsoever. But that's not necessarily true, because if you're taking too much, milk products or dairy products actually, or if you're consuming too much dairy products, you could actually get into a just vitamin A surplus, or surplus that will actually lead you to having just worse bones than without actually drinking any milk. Quite. But yeah. So the final section of the book, of this book summary of why we sleep, covers hindrances and therapies for sleep deprivation, and Matthew Walker's suggestions to reorganize your society around getting helpful sleep. Chapter 12, Things that go bump in the night, sleep disorders and death caused by no sleep. If he is actually saying like, there was actually a death recorded by actually having no sleep or by sleep deprivation, I think it's not true, because it wasn't tested out, I guess. There were no studies, especially like, there were rats dying because of, I think like 30 hours of no sleep, 30 days without any sleep, which is just enormous. And I do guess before you actually die because of no sleep or sleep deprivation, I guess you would just fall asleep, no matter what you're doing. I really think so. I really think like you quite aren't able to just fall asleep or quite just be awake just for such a long period of time. But yeah, I don't know. So the book Why We Sleep covers a variety of diseases related to abnormal sleep. Somnambulism, which is sleepwalking, happens in the REM sleep and not in the NREM sleep, and not in the REM dreaming sleep like some think. In response to an unexpected spike in nervous system activity, getting stuck between sleep and wakefulness. Makes sense. Totally makes sense. Very interesting. Automatic non-consciousness routines are executed, brushing teeth, opening the refrigerator. In the extreme, the sleepwalker murders someone. A wife-in-law's, in some case, which is actually happening to a wife. I think she was actually driving to someone's house, then he murdered this person and then drove back and, fell asleep again. This must actually be very, very fucked up if this happens to you. Very fucked up, because I kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe you have some thoughts about actually doing this. Like, yeah, could be the case, but you're actually not such a person that would do it. But, and then you're still doing it. So, which means that you're a murderer, basically, but you are not. On the other hand, very fucked up position you could be in. So, in some cases, the murderer is exculpated as not being in control of his or her actions, though his defense doesn't always work. though this defense doesn't always work, why not? You know, like, I think it's very, very difficult to actually just validate that they actually were sleepwalking, because if it is really a state between actually sleeping and being awake, I guess it is very, very difficult to actually say, okay, he was either awake or sleepwalking, because nobody can say that. But yeah, more common in children than adults for unknown reasons. Maybe because kids spend more time in NREM sleep. Could be the case. Insomnia, defined as making enough time for sleeping but being unable to sleep for more than 3 months. Characterized by difficulty falling asleep, waking up in the middle of night and feeling unrefreshed. 1/9 of people suffer from insomnia two times as common in women than men, and in blacks or Hispanics than whites for unknown reasons. Why? Actually, having problems falling asleep. I'm just trying to somehow get a relation between, am I able to say white and black people, or is this racist? Or racism, or racist? I don't know what the verb is. I don't fucking know. I do hope that I'm not just really kind of hurting someone by saying this. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the origins of, the people that, I don't know, white people, we were in, I don't fucking know. I'll just let it be there before I actually just say something that's not true. Most common triggers are emotional concerns or distress. The biological cause is linked to an overactive sympathetic nervous system. This raises body temperature and levels of cortisol or epinephrine. In turn, the thalamus or hippocampus, or thalamus and hippocampus, and amygdala all remain more active than in normal sleep patients. When they do sleep, insomniacs have more fragmented REM sleep and shallower brain waves in NREM. Given the complex physiology, blunt instruments like sleeping pills are unlikely to fix the root cause. Well, this is always the problem. I think a lot of medicine or a lot of pills and whatever you're taking actually do not solve the root or the root cause or root problem, which is actually one of the problems we have in our Western medicine, that we actually somehow only cure what happened, but actually not really the reason why it happened, which seems to be very common in Asian medical traditions, quite, that they actually rather go for the root of the problem and trying to solve it so that you do not have the problem anymore, rather than actually solving the problem you're just having right now. But yeah, can you hear this? This was my back. Sleep deprivation and death. In rodent studies, REM sleep deprivation causes death over the same period as food deprivation, about 15 days. Okay, not 30 days, but 15 days. Well, food deprivation, 15 days. Like 2 weeks without food. Well, very, very interesting, I have to say. 15 days, 2 weeks. It's just a lot of time. NREM sleep deprivation causes death too after 45 days, which. But yeah, I guess. But is there also? I guess you can't sleep. So REM sleep deprivation. Sorry. So the REM sleep deprivation causes death after 15 days or until 15 days, and NREM when 45 days. But is there actually a way to get REM sleep without NREM sleep? It seems to be like, but I kind of feel like they pointed out that, that REM sleep is actually after the NREM. So like, how? But yeah, maybe this is just some experimental, non just very possible thing. I don't know. Um, so sleep deprived rats lose body weight despite eating more. Despite eating more, related, they can no longer regulate the body temperature, causing intense metabolism. The immune system is also destroyed, causing widespread skin sores. The cause of death is universally septicemia caused by the gut microbiome. A very rare inherited condition, fatal familial insomnia, is caused by prion disease, PRNP. The thalamus is destroyed and the victim is totally unable to sleep, even with heavy sedatives, which means like pills that get you to sleep. Which is actually somehow very interesting because there are actually two kinds of cannabis. One is actually making you sleepy and the other one is making you awake. And one of them, which is actually the one that makes you feel sleepy, I guess. I don't know, I'm not very knowledgeable in the space, but I think it is actually called universally because of the septicemia, because where was the insomnia thalamus? Yeah, sedatives. I think it's called something like this. So say sedative, sativa, something like this. So death occurs without remedy within 10 months. After severe disability, dementia, speech disorders, and worsens over months. Autosomal dominant found in only 40 families worldwide. But microlepsy shows sudden bouts of extreme sleepiness during the day. Some people who are chronically sleep deprived think they are narcoleptic. The severity of feeling for narcolepsy is far more severe, equivalent to the feeling after 3 consecutive all-nighters. Narcolepsy occurs in just 1 out of 2,000 people, which is still... How many people do we have right now? Is it 8 trillion? Or 8 billion? 8 billion, sorry, 8 billion. Which is... 6 is million, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 8 million, 80, 800, 8 billion. Should be. Divided by 2,000. It's still 4 million people who are having this problem. Which is a lot. But yeah. Also experience sleep paralysis, waking up in REM sleep during muscleatonia, accompanied by a feeling of dread, which comes from being unable to move in response to possible threat. Many UFO signings are attributed to sleep paralysis. Also experience cataplexy, sudden loss of muscle control. These are triggered by strong emotional reactions, positive or negative. Jokes, surprise, a nice shower, playing with kids, a horn when driving. Well, my god, sudden loss of muscle control. The neuroleptic is banished to a monotonic existence of emotional neutrality to avoid cataplexy. My god. In cataplexy, patients aren't asleep, they are fully active but paralyzed. Which means, do they then just feel feelings or certain things if you just, punch them in the face or something? Do they feel this? Well, I do think so. Because, it only has something to do with your muscles and basically not with your nerves or nervous system. It somehow should actually be like you're actually feeling it. Wakefulness is signaled by the neurotransmitter orexin in the hypothalamus in sleep, and this is shut down. In narcoleptic patients, 90% of orexin secreting cells are destroyed and orexin receptors are down-regulated. This insufficient signaling causes the body to exist in a non-awake, not asleep purgatory throughout the day and night. So they are not like awake and not asleep. No current effective treatment. Amphetamine Provigil used for daytime sleepiness. So amphetamines, which is also something like LSD, isn't it? Or is it something else? It's definitely a drug. It's a drug. So antidepressants suppress REM sleep, which helps with sleep paralysis and cataplexy. What the fucking hell? Antidepressants or antidepressants, yeah, should be okay, actually suppress REM sleep. But they pointed out that actually throughout the REM sleep you're actually trying to connect emotions, not quite emotions, but also just things that you've seen today and things that you've just experienced today, just all the information from the day, and also managing all the things that you quite don't need, connecting with other things. I don't know if this is good to, antidepressants and antidepressants actually suppress REM. But I don't know. New drugs like sulforexant, meant to block overacting at night, caused patients to fall asleep just 6 minutes faster. Well, it's something, but not much. Sleep studies of hunter-gatherer tribes reports that natural tribes sleep just 6.5 hours have led to popular press that this is an universally natural state for all humans. So reports that natural tribes seem to only sleep 6.5 hours, which seems to be a natural state for humans. However, this is confounded by the low caloric intake of hunter-gatherer tribes. Starvation naturally induces less sleep. Well, starvation, I don't think that all the tribes or hunter and gatherer tribes are all starving. Like to encourage more hours to forage. They also tend to have shorter lifespans than typical humans. In nutrition-rich situations outside the hunting-gathering, the sleep need appears to be 8 hours. Sleeping too much, some people or some population studies show increased risk of death when sleeping over 9 hours. Matthew Walker argues this is confounded by infection and cancers in long-sleeping people, though these confounds should already have been controlled for. In Why We Sleep, Matthew Walker argues that there is no evidence that sleeping more causes any health defects. I'm just thinking about it in a trying to think about it in a very natural and very back to the roots way, like, how the first people could have kinda had any disadvantages through sleeping more. I guess it would have been, too dangerous, actually, for the people, because, it comes up to where you're sleeping. If you're pretty much sleeping near some predators, which I think nobody would have done even back in the very, very early days. But I don't know. It just, you just lose a lot of time. This is it. You just lose a lot of fucking time. But maybe psychologically, you might, I don't know. Yeah, the only thing that I can think about is that they're actually losing time. And losing time back in the days could have been one of the things that's very, very bad. Totally. I believe in that. But I don't know. But the thing is, that's the end of the episode. And yeah. I hope you got something out of it. I do think this summary is very, very interesting in general. Even though it's very, very long, I do think, I don't know what I'm gonna go through after I've just finished this one. And actually, we somehow managed to actually get to the half of it. Well, even more. We started with 11, ended with quite 15, and there's then only 15 and 16. Actually, a little bit dumb of mine that I actually just never mind. Or no. No, actually not. We had what? Wait a minute. Okay, like we've gone through quite the half. Like with 13, 15, 13, 14, 15, and 16 left, which is okay, I guess. Which is totally okay. It seems to be all right. But yeah, I hope you get the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. I do think I'm gonna just, upload all things and then go and work out. And yeah. Still don't forget to think about how you can contribute to the world somehow. Maybe by smiling at the people, maybe by being kind. But yeah, so giving back to the people and just, think about how you are willing to be remembered. Whether there's a good person, whether there's a bad quote-unquote person, not necessarily, but I'll see you. I'll fucking see you.